Today I have a special guest on my show. Her name is Richa Gupta. And I will start by asking you to introduce yourself, tell us about your work, your life, and who you are. And then we'll get into more questions.
Sounds awesome. I am so honored to be here on your podcast, Lisa. You and I have a history. We have known of each other and met at several events, but never got to, do this. So I'm super excited about this collaboration. I'm Richa. I'm founder of Good Food for Good. Good Food for Good is a registered B Corp, mission-driven company out of Toronto, Canada. We make organic sauces that are no added sugar, no soy, no corn, no gluten, pretty much allowing people to eat delicious, healthy food without compromising on quality. And every time you buy our product, we also donate a meal to feed someone in need. It's a buy one, feed one venture. And we have donated roughly 2 million meals to date. You can find our products across Canada and United States. So I'm super excited to be here.
That's amazing. We're going to get into that more, but I want to know more about you. What do you love to do and what do you do on your free time? Because I know as an entrepreneur, there's probably not a lot of that, but tell us more about Richa.
So Richa likes to cook. I find cooking very meditative. I enjoy winging things. I just look at what's in my pantry and what's in my kitchen and coming up with stuff to make. That's what I love doing most. I also like gardening, but I don't like too much sun, so I have to make sure I do it when either early in the morning or late in the evening, because I get a massive migraine if it's too hot and too sunny. I love going on walks. I've been loving working out these days. I never thought I'll become that person who loves the gym, but I've become that person.
Me too. Is it like an age thing? Have we just hit it?
So.
Yes. What kind of working out do you do?
Strength training.
Me too. Oh my goodness.
So mostly weights. Yeah. I think before this, I only used to do cardio and spin cycle, and I hated that. I just don't think my body likes it. But I love strength training. I spend so much time in the gym.
Amazing. What can you lift? Tell us, what's your latest?
Oh, don't do that to me.
Well, mine is like 15 on the overhead, so that's not a lot, but...
On my arms, I am much lower. I can do a lot more with my legs. Yes, so I'm like 15, 20 max. I tried 30 pounds for this, and I think I pulled something, so I have to be very careful. So I do more reps. When I do low weight, I just do more reps. But on my legs, I can do pretty decent. So So because arms, I do pretty much free weight. I try not to do machines. For legs, I do leg press of like 240, 250 pounds.
Amazing.
But I'm seeing more definition in my arms, which is what I'm loving.
I know. And you sit up straighter. Don't you find your core is tighter?
It's getting. Yeah. I used to get pain in my shoulder a lot, which is going away. Like I don't have those episodes. And my knee sometimes used to, like when I'm walking down the stairs or like, imagine you would feel, oh my God, my knee's hurting.
We're getting old, Richa.
Already. So that has stopped. So that's, those are the things, like the benefits, and especially, women our age. I keep reading how much strength training, how much muscle we need. And I'm a vegetarian. So I don't like that. I never had that much protein in my
yeah.
And I didn't do strength training, so I really had low muscle mass. So I think
now you're going to be so strong. When I see you, I'm going to
building muscle is really helping.
Yeah.
And I've changed my diet to I focus on more protein, which I used to initially think what a cliche. But I do try and emphasize lot more vegetables and lot more protein from all types. Again, still vegetarian, but from all types of sources. So I make sure every snack I eat is more
And tell
solid.
us, where did you grow up and when did you move to Canada?
So I grew up in India. I grew up in Delhi, a very, very busy, noisy city. Um, I moved to Canada when I was 27, but I moved to North America when I was 25. So roughly 20 years ago. I'm 45 now. Um, and I was in California before coming to Toronto. Worked in fashion all my life before I started this food business.
How did you get into food? Tell us.
Um, it's an interesting story. So since I was a teenager, all I wanted to do was fashion, and I worked in fashion in India. I worked in fashion in California. When I came here, I was working in Hudson's Bay in buying. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, that was a long time ago now. This feeling, it kind of came back. So it had come before, but then I ignored it. That is this what I want to do with my life, right? Like, do I want to be fighting for buttons and threads all my life? The conversation in fashion industry was all around who you're wearing. Uh, very superficial. And I just felt kind of lost that this is, I know I wanted to do this since I was a teenager, but this is not how I want to live the rest of my life. So to make that change as an immigrant, I chose to study because I think that works best for when, you have not grown up here. It's very hard to get those chances as an immigrant, right? For a person of color. So I did my MBA during my maternity leave. And after that, I joined General Mills in marketing. And
Wait, you did an MBA on your maternity leave?
Yeah.
Oh boy, you are type A. I love it.
Why waste time, right?
Only entrepreneurs would say that. So on my maternity leave, I started a business and got my MBA. And okay,
it's so funny. So it was not all fully planned. It was tentatively planned. I was not expecting to get pregnant. So I signed up for my MBA. It was supposed to be a full-time MBA, and then I got pregnant. And we just continued.
You got to keep going. Yeah, for sure.
So I did few terms during my pregnancy and then few during my maternity leave and sailed through. Yeah.
And then your MBA spurred the business idea, or did something else happen?
Yeah, no, after MBA, I joined actually General Mills. I did. My goal was to start a social enterprise during my entrepreneurship course. I did this project on a social enterprise that was, high-end bags because I still had, that was my background. That's all that I knew that gave back. So Tom's shoes model, but with bags. But I couldn't figure out logistics and stuff on how to make it happen. And then the buy one, give one was not connecting that well. And then I joined General Mills in marketing, and I convinced myself that, hey, I'm touching food. If I make a difference in food, I'm making a difference in lives, right? And it felt good for a short part till I learned what goes in food in the big companies, right? Till I was ignorant, I didn't know. I really enjoyed my time there. I think CPG companies do train you, and I'm grateful for what I learned there. They really train you well on basics of marketing and running a business. But I felt I was back in the same place where I was in fashion, where instead of making a positive difference, I was actually making a negative difference. And that's where Good Food for Good. That was one of the reasons why Good Food for Good was born, I should say. The second was my mom guilt of feeding my own child. When I had 20 minutes to make dinner and everything that I could buy from store shelves looked like the product from the company that I worked in. So it was loaded with preservatives, too much sugar, too much salt, ingredients that I couldn't pronounce. And I grew up in India. My mom cooked 3 meals from scratch for me, from fresh ingredients. I never grew up with anything jarred, canned, boxed, bottled, nothing. It was all scratch cooking. And here I used to go in so much guilt just ordering a pizza for my daughter or buying a jarred sauce that had preservatives and cooking for my child when I grew up eating like absolutely amazing food that was nourishing and rich and clean and just food.
A lot of immigrant families had that same experience. We begged to have a canned ravioli once a week from my mom, and my grandmother was, adamant that that was the worst thing we could do. But I guess we loved that sweet, addictive, canned ravioli sweetness and just different taste. But we never had anything processed or canned
Yeah.
So,
and I also think in North America, right? Like I see my kid too. It's the peer pressure too. Everyone talks about, oh, have you tried like Kraft mac and cheese? Like, I tell my daughter, I'm like, you really don't need to, honey.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try it, but you really don't need to.
And it's the norm. It's like people grew up on mac and cheese. And just because everyone grew up on that for the last 50 years, it doesn't mean we have to continue doing that. So yeah, I think a different perspective is always needed.
Totally. So I think that and this, and then my calling to do something that does beyond just a business made me start Good Food for Good. So yeah, combination of, stars aligning, multiple stars.
So tell me about the products you make, because I love personally the ketchup, and we have it all the time. And only once or twice we've had visitors say, this is not ketchup. And I'm like, yes, it is. Just keep eating because it tastes amazing and it's good for you. So tell us the product lineup from start to kind of where you are now, what you're developing.
Totally. So we, as I said, like my whole mission is to just make it easy for people who are living with restrictive diet, eat delicious and flavorful food. I remember when I went to buy things for my daughter, the only two clean things I found was pasta sauce and soy sauce or, coconut aminos. Everything else was loaded with things that I didn't call food. So we created a lineup so people can enjoy different flavors, even when they're living, dairy-free, sugar-free, just clean ingredients. So we have a line of ketchups and barbecue sauces that are sweetened only with dates, and very little dates, I should say. So traditional ketchup, one serving of traditional ketchup, which is a tablespoon, has the same amount of sugar as a Chips Ahoy cookie, just 4 grams. So we have 75% less sugar, and it's coming from dates.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that. That's
barbecue sauce. Don't even get me started on barbecue sauces. A Krispy Kreme donut has less sugar than 2 tablespoons of sweet baby Ray girl.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I would take Krispy Kreme donut over barbecue sauce any day if I know this.
Oh my God. That's why kids love to put ketchup on everything.
Exactly. Because it is similar to candy. It's like 3 gummy bears, 1 tablespoon of ketchup.
Okay.
It's the comparison that opened my eye too, right? I'm like, this is ridiculous. Even people who really are trying to eat healthy and cut down the sugar, they would go for cookies and, let's remove cookies and soda from my diet, but they don't realize how much sugar they're eating even in their savory meals. And ketchup and barbecue sauces are norm. They're like everyday ingredients for most people. They're not once in a blue moon I ate a donut, right? It's a meal.
Ketchup with eggs, ketchup with toast, ketchup
potatoes.
with...
I know people who eat ketchup with every meal.
Yeah.
Like, that's like eating candy with every meal.
Someone said to me the other day, like, can you put ketchup on our pasta? I was like, not in my house. And I was dead. They were kids. And I was dead serious. Like, no, if you do that at home, that's fine, but not in my house. And my son just looked at me like, I was like, no, not happening here.
Just eat it like this. Develop a palate.
Yeah. It's called tomato sauce, not ketchup sauce. So yeah. Okay. So you started with those products and then you moved on to, I've had some of the other products too.
So we have a line of Indian and Mexican cooking sauces as well. So again, it's about flavor. I was dairy-free and I couldn't find dairy-free Indian sauces, right? Or sugar-free Indian sauces. They all have dairy and sugar, lots of fat, lots of calories. When you try our Indian sauces, they are very homemade, like they're light for everyday meal, but very flavorful. And same with our Mexican cooking sauces. And then we recently launched our plant-based bolognese. That's first in the world, with same amount of protein as your meat sauce, but coming from pumpkin seeds. So we don't use any processed meat substitutes. All it is pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are great for other nutrients too. They have magnesium, they have potassium, so much better for you, but we hardly eat seeds in our diet. Like we leave seeds for the birds where, they're so nutrient rich.
Yeah. Or unless you go to a health food like salad place and they put seeds on top, you're like, oh, this is yummy. But yeah, flaxseed, hemp seed, pumpkin seeds are so good for you.
Exactly. And pasta is the most consumed food in North America. So my idea was if I could bring it to the dinner table, more people would consume seeds, which are excellent for you.
Mm-hmm. Especially as a vegetarian, you need so many different protein sources.
Totally. Yeah. I think all of us do need different, not just protein, right, but fiber sources. So another thing that I learned is about our gut microbiome, right? Like we have 3 trillion microbes in our gut. They all like different foods. So the best diet is actually a diet rich in variety.
Yes.
Because when you're eating, you're actually feeding microbes and they survive on fiber more than anything. Our muscles need protein to grow, but what our gut microbes need for them to be healthy is fiber. And they're so varied that if you give one type of fiber, which is what North American diet tends to be, it's carrots, spinach, peas, corn, chicken, and wheat. And sugar. Right? It's like those 4 or 5 things that the people eat daily. Mm-hmm. Your microbe, you're pretty much depleting because the microbes that don't get, if they don't have nutrients, they die. And then you have very limited population. And then you have all the digestive issues. Most of our health issues actually originate from our gut because your gut is not functioning well. It's not digesting nutrients that you're eating. Then, even though you have abundance of food, you're really not nourishing your body with the nutrients that those foods carry because you don't have the microbes to digest, to break it down, digest, and provide you with nutrients.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do recipe development? Are they your mother's recipes? Do you work with a nutritionist? Are you experimenting at home? You said you love to cook.
Yeah, so not my mother's recipes. My mother does not eat onion and garlic.
What? What kind of Indian mother is that?
I know. I grew up eating no onion, no garlic, but her food is delicious. She makes the most amazing food. All these recipes were created, I should say they were started by me, but always refined by, my team at the co-packer where we work. So that's the R&D team, which includes nutritionists, which includes, people from research and development background, people from different cultures to guide me through the process. But the initial recipe always started in my kitchen.
Amazing. And then how do you buy one feed 2 million people? How does that happen? Like, how do you implement that? How did that start? Because, that's a huge, huge kudos. And, you were, I think, the first person to do that in the industry.
Thank you.
Congratulations for giving back because a lot of people don't.
Thank you. It meant a lot to me. And I think for me, it was more of, remember, I just told you the story where it all started. It's that calling that I need to do something that's beyond myself to feel fulfilled. And financially, if I would have continued in CPG, I would have probably in a better state than where I am today. But this piece that I have of giving back and doing what I'm doing, making a difference in lives is, priceless. I can't put a price tag to that. And I started, when we just started the company, everyone told me, give back when you make money, right? First make money, then give back. And to me, it was more of, if I can spend money on marketing, if I can afford to spend money on sales, I can afford to spend money on giving back. It's as equal in part of me running this business as marketing and sales or any other expense. So for us, we started with one partner. We had a partner in India called Akshaya Patra Foundation. And we chose that partner because they cook fresh meals for kids every day. So that was so aligned with my business idea. But then that was just very limited, right? It was just going to India. Then I think 2 years or 3 years into the business, I started working with Food Banks Canada. And now we have partnered with food banks in US as well, Food Banks LA, Food Banks Canada, and we are partnered with Akshaya Patra Foundation. So now we have 3 partners, and all we do is we divvy up money based on how much. So every region has a different price tag on what a meal costs for them. So we give them those money. We don't give the product. We actually give them the money to use for whatever they do to feed.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And how do you manage that? Is that all done internally, or do you have someone that takes care of that for you?
Yeah, internally. It's like making a donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so great. Yeah. I love that.
It's like end of the quarter writing a check.
Yeah.
For, hey, we sold these many units, so these many meals we need to donate. This is how much it costs. And it goes as an expense line on my
So one of the things that we do in our business with the lactation cookies is it's hard to breastfeed, and education was a huge thing. And when I started the cookies, I was like, we have to give back for every box sold to breastfeeding education. So I'm wondering if maybe it was inspired by you many years ago, seeing your products. So I'm trying to think. Thank you, maybe in small part for that, because I was like, how can I do something that also gives back and does something good for the community? And it's so hard to educate moms. It's such a weird thing that is so natural, but it comes to be so difficult for so many moms.
And nobody talks about it. That's the whole thing. There's so many things about women. Like, we go through so many things that nobody talks about.
No. And, I was lucky enough I could afford a lactation consultant, and I was close to the hospital here in Michael Garron in the East End. Yeah. So I was lucky I could go to all these free sessions and then hire someone to help me. But there's so many women in the US and Canada that just don't have access to this kind of thing. So you're giving access to children, meals that are life-changing. So
yeah, like when I went to the first giving trip, it was shocking to see. And there was this kid who was taking like a lot of food. And I was talking to the organizers. They're like, for a lot of these kids, this is the only meal that they eat. That is it. So they freely. So I know some of the programs I looked at, they give kids a cookie because, in war-torn areas, that's all that you could. You can't actually cook fresh food.
Yeah.
That really does not fill you. That might be nutrient dense, but food does so much more, right? Like, food is so much more than just nutrition. Nutrition is important, but food is about flavor. It's about what you are used to eating, right? So this Akshaya Patra, another thing I liked about is they were very culturally relevant. So if they're in northern part of India, they would give kids the food that they are used to eating in that culture, right? And if it's in southern India, the food would be what people in south are used to eating. It's more rice-based. In north, it's more wheat-based. So it's all based on, because that's how our bodies are, right? Like, I have digestive enzymes for lots of vegetable and beans because that's what my ancestors grew up eating. But a lot of people who didn't eat that do not have those enzymes. And it again comes to microbes, because those microbes have been depleted because they never were fed.
Yeah, they've been ignored.
They've been ignored, right? So they leave the body. They go like, see you later. You don't need me.
So what was it like growing up in Delhi? Tell us a little bit, because when I went to Delhi, I met a woman from Kerala, and all she kept saying was, the food is way better in Kerala. The food is way better. And she just like for 4 days, because I was like, okay, I get it. Like, okay, I'll go there. And she was like, the food is way better. So what's the food like when you were growing up in your household and, just in your city?
My mom also is actually she experimented a lot, even, being in India. Usually people end up cooking Indian food, but like, she did cook Indian food, but she cooked Indian food from different parts of India. So I think that was also for me, I grew up with variety of flavors. I didn't grow up with just North Indian food or just, because a lot of cultures tend to stick to their food. So maybe the lady that came from Kerala, she's talking about food from Kerala.
Oh yeah, she was all about Kerala. I was like, why are you even here? You don't like anything here, the weather, the food.
So Delhi is in India. It's, I think Mumbai and Delhi are the two major multicultural centers, right? So you get food from all parts of the world. You get food from all parts of the country. So you do get exposed to a variety of flavors in Delhi. It's a busy, very brash town. So I understand when a lot of people don't like Delhi for Delhi, but that's fine. Like, I wasn't that person. I didn't like that part of Delhi either, and I'm okay with that. I can't. You don't choose where you were born. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. It's home. I don't enjoy going there anymore because it's become super busy, super hot. I can't cross the street by myself as a 45-year-old woman.
Yes. I have to say the driving technique there and the cows and
I cannot drive. I cannot cross the street.
It's
I
fascinating.
can't be on the streets. Like, I am not a Delhiite anymore, but it was fun. Like, I had a lot of fun growing up. We had a lot of freedom back in the day. I'm sure it was the way here too. Like, we wouldn't come back from school, just do our homework, then we were out, right? Till
just play outside.
Yeah, with friends. Like, it's very different now. Like, my daughter is 14 now. Very different life that they have versus what we had growing up. And we had a lot of fun. It was really nice. And I had really loving parents. I have an older brother and an older sister, so I have great siblings. I've been fortunate to have really good people in my life. I was just talking to my friend yesterday about that. I'm like, I seriously, she was complaining about someone being entitled and stuff like that. And I'm like, I am so fortunate that I have extremely good people in my life that I never had to, work around. How do I deal with this? Just people nice.
My mom always says, we're boring, but boring is good. We didn't have any dramas. We didn't have any fights. We didn't have any family feuds. And she's like, to other people, we might be boring, but we love each other. And it's great because we don't have any. And I was like, it always was a weird sentence. And now I'm like, I love it because it is like all that drama is unnecessary. But some families just have it like generationally over and over. And yeah, so I'm happy to be boring. So yeah.
I know. I am so happy. There's no drama in my family.
Yeah, loving parents, a great family, great friends. There you go.
Exactly. Life is good, right?
Yeah.
At least you don't have to worry about this part of your life. There's so many challenges we all face in work, outside. At least family, you don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Yeah. No. Now, running a business as a female, and you said it before, a woman of color, so a minority in two respects, what kind of lessons or advice would you give to people starting out, especially females? And this podcast is focused only on females. So what kind of advice would you share?
It's so funny. I never, till I moved to North America or actually started this business, I never felt that I am any different than a man in terms of work, in terms of, the salaries being less or how you're treated, how you're seen as less or not worthy of because you can bear a child. I don't know. I never grew up in that environment. So that was one shocking truth for me. One of the companies that I worked on, I was passed for promotion because I was pregnant. And that was the big shocking truth of, because I'm
in India or in Canada?
Yeah, in Canada.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not surprising.
Because I'm a woman, because I'm going to go on maternity leave, I do not deserve to be promoted. That was the first acknowledgement of, being a woman could be different for career than being a man. In business, I would say, whether you're a woman or a man, we all face very similar challenges. It is tough. I feel the benefit, perhaps maybe men face have that women don't is a lot of people in decision making is still predominantly men, whether it's finance, whether it's retail, and a lot of it is relationship based. So when you are a different person, like an immigrant, a mother, so a person of color, there are fewer things that you relate to build that relationship. You can relate to build that relationship versus a guy who played hockey with a guy who's making the decision, right? Or, that it's just that's the world we live in. And that's, I think, one of the challenges that I faced. I am good at building relationship where someone else, when they are ready to connect at a different level, but I can't connect at playing hockey level. I can't connect at, what happened in the game level, or take you out for a beer, or, those things become harder when you are a woman entrepreneur versus a guy, when all the relationship building happens outside of the office. And end of the day, it's all about relationship. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. But it's, just challenging unless the other person sees that in you. So that's where I feel sometimes women tend to not excel as much unless the other side sees that part and is ready to build that relationship. It's just harder. It's like we all want to, it's like even in school, high school, we hang out with our group, our cliques, right? Like these people are more like me. So there's basic
It's easier. It's easier to do the same than to change. It's easier to do the same than get to know new cultures and people, and not go for a beer, but go with you to a vegetarian restaurant or go with you for a walk versus, meeting at the pub downstairs from the office of a big CPG company. So
it's like, that's how you connect. Like people connect with like people naturally. That's just how things work in nature, right? Like lions hang out with lions. Lions don't hang out with cats or mice.
Yes.
Right? So I think that it's the same thing we tend to connect with. Like women, I have amazing relationship with my women buyers. Because we just connect at a different level. We talk about different things when we are talking. We don't always talk about just work.
Yeah.
And that builds a relationship. You can't build a relationship just talking about work.
Yes. Yeah, you have to find a common connection, food, wine, it is so hard. Children, motherhood, Well, let's talk about food now. So, what's your favorite product in your portfolio?
I would say hands down tikka masala.
I love that one too. Okay.
And I like a little bit more spice than most Canadians, so that's why I enjoy tikka masala a lot more. It's such a versatile sauce. I make so many things with it. But
and a note to people, like, go to Delhi because the food is amazing.
It is.
It's a little bit spicy. I mean, I think I had a spicy breakfast once. I was like, this is breakfast?
It is a little bit. We do savory breakfast. So in India, which is actually a good thing. Now, all talk about eating savory in the morning and not sweet.
Yeah. It was delicious.
Like, we've been doing that for centuries, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And now what's the best part about running your business?
The freedom. You're your own boss. You decide where you want to take it, how you want to take it, when you want to take it. But that also comes with the negative. That sometimes you don't know where you want to take it, how you want to take it.
And you don't know what's coming at you, like COVID or...
Exactly. But that's the same thing with jobs too, right? Like so many people got fired during COVID when they went down, right? So, but also sometimes it can also make you slack a bit, right? Because you don't have someone you need to answer to. You go at your own pace. You go, la da da, I'll take the longer route. Because you're enjoying the journey, right?
Yeah. It is a journey. It is quite a journey. It's not for everyone too, because it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Now, your best meal, where did you have it and what was it?
Oh my God, that's a toughie. That's a very tough question to answer. I have so many good meals.
You can pick more than one.
Yeah. Of course, my mom. I have to start there.
What does she make?
I remember she makes these paranthas. Paranthas is like it's a bread with stuffed vegetables in it. I remember one time when I was growing up, I mean, I was in my 20s growing up. I'm not saying I was a teenager. I think I ate 12 of those. She kept making and I kept eating. She kept making and kept eating.
She must have been so happy.
She was so happy. You know, like all mothers, right?
The more you eat, the happier they are. Yes. Yeah. Well,
now
what does she put in them?
Cauliflower.
Oh,
cauliflower and cilantro and a little bit of green chilies and salt. Very simple. And ginger. Very simple. It's how she makes it with her. Like, I think the love, right? Like, it's nothing compares to your mother's cooking because it has
something different.
Love enzymes in it.
Yeah. Love ingredient. I always say that. I'm like, how come mommy's sauce does not taste like my sauce? Like my sister and I were like, what? She uses the same things, but I don't know what it is. It's the love.
The things that we can't explain.
Like a mummy herb.
It is that I'm sure our hands release some enzymes that go in food.
Yeah. I think you're right.
All mothers. My gosh. There's something with mom love food that is incredible. And then I remember, I was in London not too long ago. I'm forgetting the name of the bar. But I had this incredible burrata. Usually burrata I've had with tomatoes, olive oil. But this was done with candied pears and some greens and Thai red chilies.
Wow.
I know. It was like...
That's amazing. Okay. What was the restaurant? Do you remember?
I'm forgetting the name. It was a bar in Chelsea. Not even like a
just
restaurant.
Like a little appetizer.
Yeah, I was like, let's just have a little app and a drink. And then it was so good.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's when you're so impressed when you least expect it. Those little holes in the wall.
That's what I enjoy. So someone was talking about going to a cruise versus going and exploring. I'm like, I am all for going and exploring. I cannot do cruise because I cannot do that Americanized food.
Oh yeah,
all planned for
every day,
every meal, every day. I want to go explore. I want to see. I want to nibble. I don't want to do that. Yeah, too much food is not my thing, but variety is my thing, right? Like I want to sit in a cafe and watch people go by.
That's why a city like London is so good because there's so many different cultures and places to eat and like little holes in the walls and stalls and markets. And we have similar in Toronto, but not to the same. Yeah.
I have to say Toronto food, hands down. I've been to so many cities, so many multicultural cities. Toronto food, hands down, is the best food.
Yes. I agree. Yeah.
We have from every culture, food from every culture in this tiny little city.
Yeah.
Finger-licking food.
I still need to explore so many places on the East End. We both live in the East. So yeah, there's so many places that...
There is so much goodness, yes. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, have you been to Udupi Palace on Gerrard? Okay.
Yes.
Because that's vegetarian. I think it's south though.
It's southern Indian, yeah. But there is one up north in Markham. So we used to go to Udupi, but the one up north is in Markham. That's become our favorite. It's called Nilgiris.
Okay.
It is the best.
How do you spell that?
Nilgiris.
Okay.
Really excellent food. And people are usually like, oh, you're a vegetarian. You don't get, there's not that many options. But if you go to any restaurant, there's always something vegetarian. Like I'm not a main course person. I love appetizers. I think chefs are more creative too when they're doing the apps.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had shortage of food.
No, I think especially this city knows that there's you have to be a little bit for everyone.
Totally. There's always, and even sometimes they do fries with love truffle oil. They're things that small things that make food delicious. Like it doesn't have to be an elaborate.
Yeah. We need more tapas restaurants in the city, though.
Oh my God, yes.
Like little, like San Sebastian type bars, like little.
Yeah. Little portions.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
I tell all my friends, I'm like, if you're coming to Toronto, please don't come with any food restrictions. Like I'm not eating carbs, or I'm not eating sugar. In Toronto, all you can do is just eat.
Yeah.
We do not have anything to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't say that too loud. I'm going to edit that out because I'm a member of the Tourism Attractions Council.
But this is our tourism. Our tourism should be food, like seriously.
Well, our cooking school is part of the tourism.
Yeah. That's that exactly, because our food is so good.
Yeah. And a lot of the members are food tours and chocolate tours. And so yeah.
I mean,
come here with no, yeah. All right. Now, if you were to have a giant dinner party, who would be there and what would you make? Or who would cater it? Because sometimes you want to enjoy the party. You want to just have a good bartender, a good chef.
Well, now I would like to make.
Okay. What are you making? What are you making and can I come?
Yes. So all my friends and family, people I know, everybody I know, I would like to do it in my backyard. And like dusk time with, lights on. Like I would love to do that, and white sheets and white, just very grounded with lots of lights. And I would make, I don't know. That I don't know. That I'll figure out. But something delicious from what ingredients are in season at that time. Depending on what season it is. It's fall, it's summer, it's spring, right? But it will be delicious. I picked that.
I will not attend if it's in the winter in your backyard, just to let you know.
I never said winter, remember?
Yeah. No, I know. I was like waiting. I was like, is she in this thing? No, she stopped. Okay, good.
I go out as little as possible when it's winter.
Oh my goodness. Yes, me too. And now, who do you admire in the food world? Like, are there any brands or chefs or cookbook authors that you kind of follow and love what they do?
I felt when I moved to North America, I learned a lot, like kitchen hacks from Rachel Ray. I love Nigel Lawson. I hope I'm saying her name right. There's something about the way she cooks and the way she presents that really pulls me in, and I want to make that. Giada was another one that I really, 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 really liked. In terms of entrepreneurs, I admire Miyoko a lot. Like she, what happened to her businesses. I do know Miyoko Shiner, right? From Miyoko Creamery.
From where?
Miyoko Creamery. They do a vegan cheese. It's a US
okay.
company.
No, tell us more.
So Miyoko Shiner, she was she started a vegan cashew-based cheese company about 10 or 15 years ago. She's a vegan, animal rights activist, and I think she raised a lot of money, does really well, like bringing organic cashew-based cheese to the market. And then she recently was, she's no longer the CEO of the company, let's put it that way, because the board felt her values were not aligned with where the business needs to go, or something on those lines.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's a value-driven business again, which to me means everything. But she stood by her values versus just the business, which means a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm going to look her up. Where is she based? In California?
California.
I love it.
North of San Francisco. Yeah. And I also like Nature's Path, like a Canadian brand. If you have to see, I admire people behind Nature's Path. I know it's a second gen now that's leading the business, but I think they stood by their values for so many years, right? When organic didn't exist. They placed their bet on organic. So that means a lot. And now it's a brand name that everyone knows.
So tell us a few things. Where can people find your products? And what's next for you?
People can find my products in Canada and United States. You can find in Canada most major retailers from Loblaws, Metro, Sobeys, Whole Foods, Walmart. And in US, Whole Foods has all across US, so you can order through Vitacost or many other stores you can find on our website. We have a whole list of places you can actually buy our products in. There are tons of retailers. We're in about, say, 8,000 stores, roughly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what was the next question?
What's next? What's next for you and your family, or you and your business?
Oh, I don't know. One day at a time, girl. We don't know what's next because we really don't know what's next. You never know what something is hitting. Like for me, just making every day. I was in this I was giving a talk in Victoria, Texas. I didn't even know Victoria, Texas existed till I gave this talk. And this girl said, we were talking something about accountability, and she's like, I want to be accountable for making 100% effort today. And that stuck to me. Like at the end of day, if I feel I did 100%, I made 100% effort on whatever I was doing, I gave myself fully, that's when I say my day's well done, right? So I'm trying to live that mentality of live the best today, because that's all we got.
Yes, I love that. Being present and doing your best on the day.
Exactly. I'm trying my best to do that. I'm really focusing on my health, fitness, my daughter. Those are very important things, along with growing this good food for good baby. Those are my top 3 priorities in life.
I love that. Well, thank you for being on the show. I loved our chat. I'm gonna go have, eggs with your ketchup right now for lunch because I'm so hungry. I wish I had your mother's paratha, but I'll have to make a trip to Nilgiri. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for being on the show, and I will see you at the next, I guess, food show, CHFA, Expo East, Expo West, all that stuff. And on LinkedIn and, around the food town. But yeah, thank you for being on the show, and have a great rest of your day. And thanks for sharing some insights with our listeners.